The Soul Society arc is regarded as one of the best arcs when it comes to storytelling in Battle Shonen. Most people even go so far as to claim that this is Bleach's only good story arc, and this is because the other arcs that followed after it just didn't succeed in captivating them. They are always quick to remind people that, and I quote, Bleach falls off after the Soul Society arc. And that's why in this video, I will be trying my best to figure out exactly why this arc is so appealing to fans. First up is the premise. The premise of the Soul Society arc is very simple, yet so effective at the same time. Rukia breaks a sacred law of the Soul Society by giving Ichigo her Soul Reaper powers, and because of this, her own brother arrives in the world of the living with orders to bring her back to the Serete, and there she will be executed. Obviously, Ichigo just wasn't going to sit back and let that happen. In an attempt to save Rukia's life, he engages in a battle with Byakuya, but unfortunately, he miserably loses. Regardless of this, he didn't give up there. Him and his friends team up and head to the Soul Society with the hopes of rescuing a friend. Please bear in mind that these were teenagers who were going to be facing off against literal death gods. This was a perfect setup for a story arc, and there was no telling what was going to happen. Next up is world building. World building is the process by which an author creates a fictional world, inventing its history, geography, politics, and economy, as well as any religions or power structures. After spending several chapters in Karakura town, fans, and myself included, were getting bored. We were desperate to see the exploration of a new location, and it was a relief to hear that Ichigo and his friends were finally going to explore an uncharted location known as the Soul Society. The Soul Society is an afterlife where Soul Reapers live and also where souls dwell until they are reincarnated into the human world. Think of it like a cheaper version of heaven. Anyways, the Soul Society is filled up with different people from all around the world, and these people come along with their own cultures, clothing, beliefs, and so much more. And aside from that, the Soul Society itself was already an established civilization. They had laws, nobles, technology, their own history, and most importantly, a military called the Gotei 13. Kubo Sensei built his own world from scratch, and to be honest, he killed it. He was also able to craft his own afterlife and tie it in with Buddhist beliefs, and in the process also touched on deeper topics such as a corrupt system, classism, revenge, emotional manipulation, and betrayal. Next on the list is the Gotei 13 provided for a great cast of characters. The Gotei 13 is the military of the Soul Society. It consists of 13 divisions, and each division has a captain and a vice captain. The characters introduced in this arc are loved by fans because not only were they interesting, but also they had intricate abilities with cool designs to complement them. Despite the countless amount of characters that were introduced, there were some fan favorites that stole the spotlight, such as the strongest Soul Reaper, Kenpachi, and the child prodigy, Toshiro. While these characters were great to watch, they didn't overshadow the other characters. And this is because nobody was left out. The backstories of each character was revealed, as well as the reasons for their conflicts, and it was genuinely interesting to learn more about these characters. Here are some of my favorites. Soifon devoted her entire life to Yoruichi, and what did she get in return? Absolutely nothing. One day, without even saying a word to Soifon, Yoruichi disappears from the Serete, and to make matters worse, she didn't even bother to say goodbye to her. Soifon wasn't looking for her validation or anything. All she wanted was for Yoruichi to take her along with her. she felt betrayed by the one person she looked up to. And because of this, when they were reunited again, she was ready to exact her revenge. Because of his appearance, Komamura felt like an outcast, and he struggled to form genuine connections with people. However, all of that changed when he met Kaname Tosin. Komamura had nothing to be ashamed of when he was with Tosin, and this was because he was blind. Together, they became great friends, and on top of that, they both had the same ideals. Everything was going great until it was revealed that Kaname was in cahoots with Aizen, and just like that, their precious friendship was ruined. But Sajin wasn't going to give up. He was determined to do whatever it took to get his friend back. Interesting stories like these shaped the Soul Society arc, and on top of that, there are dozens of stories as interesting as the two I just mentioned. Fans were determined to see how these individual stories for all of these characters would be resolved. Next up are the fights. Fights are obviously an important aspect of shonen storytelling, and when it comes to the Soul Society arc, Kubo gets in his bag and provides us with countless of entertaining battles. The best part about this is that these fights aren't just there to solely provide eye candy with cool explosions and flashy transformations. There is so much more to them than that. These battles were very personal to each character. It wasn't about proving who was stronger, smarter, or faster. Each character was fighting for what they believed in. Suifon was fighting Yoruichi to prove her strength. Renji was fighting Byakuya to protect a friend. Uryu fought Mayuri to avenge his grandfather. And most importantly, Ichigo was fighting Byakuya to save Rukia's life. They were literally putting everything on the line. All of these fights succeeded in captivating fans from all around the world because of how much weight they held. Next is the plot twist. On top of everything that I just mentioned, by creating one of the best plot twists in all of shonen manga, Kubo Sensei ended the Soul Society arc with a bang. For years, the captain of the 5th Division, Aizen Sosuke, fooled the entire Soul Society into believing that he was their ally, when in reality, he was the enemy. Imagine how embarrassed members of the Gotei 13 were when they found out that Aizen had them running around in circles, looking for his murderer, when in reality, he was alive and behind all of the chaos. It was the job of the Gotei 13 to not only protect citizens of the Soul Society, but also people in the human world. However, they failed all of them. Aizen had plans to overthrow the Soul King and rule over the entire world. And because of the lousy job that they did, the Gotei 13 potentially put everybody in the universe at risk. This was mind-blowing for everybody, regardless of if you were reading or watching Bleach. We as an audience had to question how exactly was the Gotei 13 going to right their wrongs. And finally, the conclusion. The conclusion of the Soul Society arc is so satisfying. Not only does Ichigo rescue Rukia, but he also achieves Bankai, a technique that takes over 10 years for a Soul Reaper to obtain. The Soul Society also recognizes Ichigo's potential, and because of this, he is given a permit which allows him to serve as a substitute Shinigami. And after all of that hard work, Ichigo and his friends return to the human world, safe and sound. You just can't help but feel happy for them. A lot of people usually say that Bleach should have ended here, but this statement just doesn't make any sense. There were several questions left to be answered. How was the Gotei 13 going to defeat Aizen? Would Komamura succeed in saving his friend? Were we going to see more Bankais and Shikais? And most importantly, what were Ichigo and his friends going to do next? It just leaves you wanting more. And to be honest, that's what makes the Soul Society arc special. On the anime side of things, everything was flawless. Studio Period adapted Tite Kubo's manga to perfection, and considering the fact that the anime was made in the 2000s, they did a fantastic job. The animation was top tier and the fight scenes had great choreography. They didn't cut any content out and they also didn't add any unnecessary filler. The pacing was excellent and even the openings and endings were catchy. I can't describe the amount of hype I feel when I hear this song. To close off the video, yes, the Soul Society arc is fantastic, and like I just mentioned, there are genuinely a lot of things to like about it. But I often hear people say that this is the only good arc in Bleach, and this simply is not true. The other arcs are also very interesting, so please remember to have an open mind when it comes to the other arcs. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and let me know down in the comment section what you guys love most about the Soul Society arc. And also please don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.